Welcome to Beyond Business Barriers, powered by insights, driven by strategy, and yes, assisted by AI. I'm your host, Roy MacEwen, and today's episode is part of a special series where we sit down with industry leaders to dig into what's working, what's not, and what the future holds. I'm excited today to have Jack joining me. Let's kick things off with a quick intro, Jack. Can you tell us a little about who you are and where our listeners can find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Jack Oliphant, and you can find me all over the internet right now, but especially on LinkedIn. Jack, JCK, Oliphant, Oliphanт. I run my own freelance consultancy in revenue operations. It's called Oliphant Strategies, LLC. You can also find me at oliphantstrategies.com. That's Oliphanт strategies.com. And you can fill out a contact form. Lastly, if you just want to shoot me an email, it's jack@oliphantstrategies.com. So we'll make it real easy for you.
That's convenient and easy. That's how I found you. So let's start with your background, some shifts you're seeing in your industry. Then we'll dig into your current priorities, challenges, and finally we'll look ahead and where things are going and how you're prepared for what's coming up next. So let's start at the top, Jack. What's your role at your company and how does it connect to the bigger vision of what you're working towards?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I run my own single member LLC. Different people have different names for it, but you could call it freelance, you could call it fractional, you could call it solopreneur. So there's a lot of different hats that I wear at my company as I'm a one person shop. So right now I'm focusing on a few different things, including a lot of biz dev work that is helping to collate resources for fractional job boards. So that's of interest right now. But I'm also testing a lot of different online communities across the board, whether it's Slack workspaces or WhatsApp groups. I'm very interested in seeing how communities are built and also the corresponding content that comes out of it, whether it's a newsletter or whether it's a Slack channel or whether it's a LinkedIn post or video. So definitely wearing a lot of different hats, but my specialty is in HubSpot architecture, CRM, as well as marketing products within the HubSpot ecosystem. And I do a lot of different work across revenue operations on behalf of clients, everything from determining an ideal customer profile or ICP to lifecycle stages to sales enablement. So definitely wear a bunch of different hats and try to help as many companies as possible basically streamline and operationalize their revenue.
Well, that's a nice hat shop you got going there, Jack. I'm pretty impressed with that. Now, let's say if I was to shadow you for a day, I was to follow you when you get up and you start working, what would we see, or is every day a completely different day for you?
Oh, it's a good question. So I'm about 10 steps away from, everything in my apartment here. So I don't go very far. Being in a work from home situation all the way back from the pandemic, actually. So I haven't gone back to an office. But from like day-to-day duties and responsibilities, everything kind of looks a little bit different each day, but a lot of email follow up, a lot of work within HubSpot specifically, a lot of LinkedIn engagement. I do check Slack communities pretty consistently throughout the day in order to build thought leadership in different specific communities that I'm a part of. And then, just fulfilling client requests, whatever that might look like. I represent a few different clients currently, both from my own shop as well as a larger revenue operations firm that I've partnered with this year as well. So, I kind of have two uh, sets of clients. One is my own for Oliphant Strategies LLC, and then again, I work as an independent contractor on behalf of another larger RevOps agency. So definitely depends, but at the same time, with solopreneur work, you do have to do everything. So I've built out my own tech stack recommendation for other SMBs or solopreneurs, and whether that means being in the software specifically in terms of like even all the way from accounting and recently taxes. I have different solutions and services that also provide insight into different business verticals that I might not be as versed in. So even though I have to oversee a bunch of stuff, I do, also uh, farm out through different tech services the things where I'm not an expert. And also on any given day, I'm usually taking about a networking chat every day, just because I have to continue to get my name out there in terms of brand recognition across the board.
I know you do a lot of research throughout your day. So what have you been seeing shifting in the industry lately that's really caught your attention? Is there one specific thing that's really jumped out at you?
Well, I mean, there's a couple big things that I think have shifted recently. I mean, I think that investment has really tightened up. So you're seeing a lot of folks either not raise around or continue bootstrapped. So there's like definitely a shift in terms of trying to become more lean from like a burn rate if you are, VC backed, and this effort to increase profitability. So, I mean, I think that touches a lot of different parts of the market. And then not to harp on it too much, but uh, as a solopreneur, I also see that part of the industry increasing. So, just to give you a ballpark, currently over 10% of US labor is self employed. So, with kind of the mass layoffs that large enterprise corporations are going under consistently over the past, I'd say 24 to even 36 months, you're seeing a lot of folks either entering the self-employment market for the first time, or there's also a wave of folks that are just kind of, transparently fed up with corporate enterprise life, not necessarily seeing the results that they'd like to see, not being heard in the manner that they'd like to be heard. So there's a big trend, I think, in the labor market to become self-employed, to become more fractional. And I only think that that's going to increase over time, not decrease.
Yeah, you can tell that there's a lot of skilled individuals out there too, and a lot of them are starting to reach out now and do their own thing. Because when you look at the numbers, the metrics, indicators, if you track them, I mean, you're gonna see that that's probably what's in the spotlight right now. Um, so it's I'm 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 nervous, but yet I'm kind of interested in how this is going to channel out over the next couple of months. What are your if you had a crystal ball, what would you kind of see what's going to happen in the next couple of months, 2 to 3 months? Let's say by midsummer.
I'm bullish on folks finding paths through. So, especially with the rise of AI tools and things like that, you're only seeing efficiency across many different aspects of your job or your career increase. So, I think that over the next couple of months specifically, I'm not too sure. The United States is also in a pretty particular situation currently, so it's hard to even say what tomorrow might hold in terms of the news headlines and trades that come out consistently every 24 hours. But I definitely see over time that people are going to find innovative ways to create products and services that are also keeping up with the trends, right? So like, if there is a trend towards uh, solopreneur or freelance work, then I also think that there's going to be innovations within that work as well. Just as like the AI tools and different technologies that we're able to access on an individual level rather than like a conglomerate enterprise perspective, has gotten just so much more accessible than it used to be.
Do you see any data points shaping your strategy right now or nudging you to rethink how you're growing? I know you're always constantly jiving there to try to come up with something new all the time, but and is there any one way you're being nudged to rethink how you're going to grow?
Yeah, something that I've been mulling over a lot is the juice worth the squeeze. So uh, to your point, how long do I test a channel before giving up on it? Um, there's only so much time that I have in one single day. So, as I've been trying to really lean into my biz dev efforts, like what things am I going to have to give up in order to test other new channels? And like a part of that is asking yourself, how much time do you actually give that channel, right? So like, um, I know it's a little bit of a jump, but on the back end of this, it really makes me think about like pricing structures and like especially free trials, right? Because like, a free trial is supposed to get you hooked into a piece of software, right? So like if you have 2 weeks to test something, like is that really enough time, or is it just really enough time to lead you into a subscription model? I'm applying the same type of parallel to my own biz dev efforts. So it's like if I'm paying, a marketplace subscription for leads, or let's just say I'm using a demand gen service and paying them a monthly fee, how many months lead time do I have until I say, you know what, this is ineffective? So is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Those have been kind of the things that I've been thinking a lot about in terms of where to prioritize my efforts from a business development standpoint for my own business. And kind of where I'm landing in that is about 3 to 6 months for a channel before I say, you know what, I can't put any more time or money into this if it doesn't show a dividend. So, being from a sales background myself, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt that like things take a while to ramp up, but it's also a question of, if it's not working, then you gotta move
You
on.
you can accept a transition period, but yeah, you have to
Right.
see the needle going towards full. That's right. Well, let's flip it a bit. Well, I know you were talking about something in earlier one of our conversations. What's actually working really well for you right now? Are there any surprising wins or solid bets that's paid off for you in the last little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that there are a couple of communities as well as LinkedIn where I've been seeing success. I've been making a concerted effort in order to post more consistently and be more active in terms of commenting and just a lot more interactions with LinkedIn. And I've grown my own LinkedIn presence from about like 8 to 10 weekly profile views to over 100 weekly profile views over the last 6 months. So, I've definitely seen growth there, which has been a win. And you know, some interesting conversations that come out of that. But I'd say like some of the best networking and on the back half of that, referrals into other people that might be a better fit for my services have been one recent community that I joined actually in the last month or so. It's called Fractionals United, or Frun is their Slack workspace. And then also NextPlay, and they have a paid subscription called Friends of NextPlay. So going into this whole, idea of biz dev, those are two communities where I've found a lot of great conversations and also introductions into prospective clients. I would also say that HubSpot has an online community that I've been very active in called uh, founder focused. They're currently transitioning platforms that will take place in June here, but I've had a lot of success on that particular community as well, where I even hosted an in-person dinner event for LA entrepreneurs. So we had a recent dinner at Elefante, which is a restaurant in Santa Monica where I'm based, overlooks the Pacific Ocean, caught a beautiful sunset, and
I saw the pictures there. That was a pretty amazing venue, eh?
yeah, and an amazing conversation and night with a whole bunch of LA entrepreneurs. So I think we had 16 at the table, and just a really great, diverse group of entrepreneurs and founders. So I think that there's something really awesome about being able to transfer online communities to in-person events. I think like even with my own clients in the B2B marketing space, you've seen a lot more focus on like smaller in-person events driving ROI versus like investing in mass cold outreach. So, similar to bigger venture, capital backed organizations and companies. I've been also trying to mimic it in my own ways that I can within a budget of one.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I know you like testing out tools and tech. Are there any tools or tech or even habits that have made your work easier and more effective lately?
Yeah, I'll plug Firmograph right now. I've been working with their team for about a month, and they are a very early stage venture that will be a clay competitor. So they've been helping me build out a table, a custom table, in order to target my ICP. And not only that, we've been working on a pretty neat custom column or object or data point, whatever that you might want to call it, in order to try to predict whether a company will raise another round. So it's a pretty interesting tactic in order to try to prospect by putting a percentage on the likelihood of a company raising a round based on different indicators like the last time that they raised, what series that they are, and the amount that they raised previously, in addition to like headcount triggers. So I really liked Rome is his name, but he works at Firmgraph. So learning that tool. And then I've also been learning an automation tool over the last month or so called N8N. And then, on the back half of that, earlier in the year, and I've been keeping up with it pretty consistently throughout 2025 is Webflow. So I built my entire website using Webflow, and have been trying to make consistent updates over the last few months to it. In addition to integrating all of this stuff into HubSpot, right? So like, again, kind of going to this idea that I'd love to be, working case study as like a best in class solopreneur tech stack, right? Like, how can you build this stuff out if you're just starting out? And I have different resources that I've shared over multiple months now, so that people can learn from both my successes and the failures, because I'm a big believer that you learn more from your failures than you do your success.
Learning what not to do and repeating it is probably one of the best things you can pass along. It's just like, no, trust me, I know.
No, I made that mistake twice. We really got to stop it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The wall's not moving. I keep hitting it and it's not moving.
Yeah.
So, well, let's fast forward to, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, but I like thinking six, especially in today's world. What would success look like to Jack? And what are you hoping to celebrate by then?
So, My end of year goal, which is just right about there right now, it's almost through the second quarter. I guess we're midway through at this point.
Mhm.
Would be to bring on 1099 for my own business. So my hope and my goal in terms of what success might look like in terms of the back half into Q4 would actually be to onboard some support for my own company. I don't think that a W-2 is in the future anytime soon. But it would be really great to onboard 1099 into my business, as well as be able to recruit for the first time based on a talent pool that I know and love, which is my college alma mater. I've always been screaming from the rooftop ever since my first corporate enterprise gig at CBS that the Claremont colleges just have a plethora of talent, and using them as like a pipeline to entry level positions has been something that I've been telling every HR recruiter that I could ever since I was like 23 years old. So it would be like a real, kind of full circle for me to be able to onboard a first 1099 for my own business using the pipeline that I've been trying to tout for many years.
Sounds like a good reward, though. That's something to look forward to. I would
Yeah.
like to see you achieve that. So now, if you could instantly solve just one major issue in the business right now, and you could just make it disappear, what would it be?
For my business, an
Yeah.
aggregate job board for fractionals. That's really easy. It's a problem that I'm currently trying to solve myself through automation software, specifically within the Slack workspaces that I've kind of chatted about already. But one of my biggest pet peeves right now about fractional work is that there's no real place to find all of the job listings. They're not only fragmented by uh, Slack workspaces, but also by gated like marketplaces that require a huge data scrape for each one that you either apply to or are part of. So it's in my head not really moving the industry forward. It's just fragmenting it more. And I would really love to be able to solve that because the fragmentation of the job board situation for fractionals currently is a mess.
Now, how many years now have you been working remotely? Do you remember when you started working remotely?
I've been working remotely since the pandemic, so March of 20. I've been working for myself for about 2.5 plus years now, on and off since July of 21. I'm not sure when I might go back into an office, but if I do, it would only be part time. I don't ever see myself going back into an office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 ever again in my entire life.
So you're pro remote work for sure then.
I'm pro hybrid.
Hybrid?
I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot that you can accomplish in person, and I love chatting with people, and I think that ideation is done incredibly well with a whiteboard and with people in a room drinking coffee or having lunch or whatever it might be. But at the same time, I don't think that there's ever a need anymore for you to be butt in seat at a cubicle or an open air desk office from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I'm also a big proponent, and if I could hold myself accountable to this, I would love it. But 4 day work week would do everybody. Um, I think it would be amazing. I think that the studies and the science is actually in, and it backs it. People are more efficient if we could get the entire uh, job market to do that for office culture, at least.
Yeah, it's been done in other countries. Now here's the question: 8 hour days or 10 hour days for the 4 day work week?
See, Roy, I work 10 hours anyways, so it's
Yeah, I
like,
know, I know.
like I'm working
I
10
I
hours
I spent
Monday
half
through
my working
Friday,
career
and
working 12 to 13, so
yeah, I mean, it also, like, for me, it depends a lot on the project that I'm working on, just because I am project and client by client based. But even this year, I've worked PT, MT, ET, CET, IST, which is a big one. So I mean, I've worked time zones all over the world, uh, from Santa Monica, from California, and like I don't mind working. In fact, I really enjoy working. But I
Yes.
think that like if you work 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, you could have a much better integrated lifestyle. You could have a much better personal professional life balance. Because like there's a big, I'm gonna go on a little bit of another tangent here, but there's a big concept or idea called FIRE, financial independence, retire early. And there's like it's kind of segmented into two parts. It's like early on in your career you work all the time. You just work and you stack money, and then you accumulate a wealth to a certain point, to a number that you can put in the bank, so that for the rest of your life, you can live off of your annual expenses, off the interest that you put into the bank, right? So the financial independence is like the first 20 years of your career. Now, retire early is what you call when you fire. And what a lot of people have difficulty with is when they fire, they have no purpose in life because they don't have any hobbies, they don't have any interests. They've kind of let life go, by the wayside because they've been so focused on that first half of the goal of financial independence. So I think that like, for a lot of people, including, older folks that are going through like career 2.0, it's like, I don't want to stop working. Like I could work 2, 3 days a week, but I want to stay involved so that like I'm still mentally stimulated. I'm still active like with other people and chatting and things like that. So like, you know, it's a long-winded way of saying that I don't think I'll ever really retire because I just enjoy to work and I enjoy problem solving. Now if I could scale it back to 2 days a week and then go cycle and swim and run for the remaining five,
Then
I
you'd start
probably would.
training, and we know where that would go. And you can let our listeners know what you used to dabble in. How many races did you compete in?
Yeah, I've done 3 full Ironman competitions. I've done 4 half Ironman 70.3s, and I've done 3 full marathons in different cities. So I definitely love it. I did my last full Ironman in September of last year, so it's definitely something that I really enjoy to do. This year, different thing altogether, but I took up more of a hiking because I've been spending so much time working that Ironman really isn't in the cards this year. But I've been hiking and I've been volunteering actually with the Sierra Club in order to help trail maintenance and rebuild trails and things like that. So I just love being outside. And again, I think that like when you find things outside of work and you can find that balance where you make enough money to be comfortable and not worry about your bills as well as like enjoy your life. I think that's like kind of the holy grail of this like fractional or solopreneur lifestyle.
Hey, I can attest to that, and I'm a few years older than you, and never retire, never.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of quitting you, Jack.
Not yet. Not yet,
Not
Roy.
yet, yet. I'll do a follow up in 13 years if I'm still here.
Yeah, remind me in 13 years.
Yeah, for sure. Put it in the calendar now. Well, it's been a great conversation, Jack. I really appreciate how open and thoughtful you've been. Now once we finish this series, I'll be putting together a highlight reel of key takeaways from all our guests, and I'll be sure to send one your way. That's fantastic, Jack. You have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll be chatting soon.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on. I
Take
really
care.
appreciate it.